Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Before we dive in, just a heads up. Today's video covers some pretty heavy stuff involving violence against women and children. So if that's not for you right now, totally understand. Catch you on the next one. Alright, so here's something that'll keep you up at night. Every single year, hundreds of women are found dead with no name, no ID, nobody looking for them. They end up being identified by whatever they had on them, maybe a tattoo, a t-shirt, a piece of jewelry. It's heartbreaking because in death, they lose even their identity. Today, we're covering 5 Jane Doe cases that are absolutely haunting. Let's get into it. So this one's from 2012 in Houston, Texas. A guy pulls off the road looking for a hubcap he lost, right? Pretty normal Tuesday afternoon, October 16th. But what he found instead? Absolutely not normal. There's this black trash bag on the side of a gravel road near an oil field. It's torn open, probably from animals, and inside, curled up like a child hiding from the world, is a human body, partially skeletonized. But here's the thing that gets me. She's wearing this turquoise Smurfette t-shirt that says, "He smurfs me. He smurfs me not." Under that, adult lingerie, pink underwear, black bra. That contrast right there. Cartoon innocence mixed with clear signs of exploitation. It just adds this whole extra layer of darkness to the case. The medical examiner figured she'd been dead at least 3 weeks, maybe longer. Probably killed sometime in September. She was just a teenager, maybe 15 to 17 years old, between 4 feet 7 inches and 5 feet tall. Mixed race, likely African American and white. Long curly brown hair tied back with a single bobby pin, and at some point, she dyed it purple. No ID, no missing persons report, no parents searching, just a child dumped on a rural Texas road. But her body told a story. Her bones showed growth arrest lines. That's a sign of malnutrition or chronic illness during childhood. She only had 22 ribs instead of the normal 24. Her skull had a pronounced overbite and noticeable facial asymmetry. Someone had cared enough at some point to give her dental work. She had 3 fillings. But by the time she died, her teeth were decayed and her body was weak. The evidence pointed to something horrific. Police believe she was a victim of child trafficking. Her body was found in a known dumping ground off Walters Road, which runs through a Houston corridor notorious for brothels and exploitation. The theory is she was trafficked, controlled, and eventually discarded when she was no longer useful or maybe tried to escape. Here's what really gets me though. Despite nationwide press coverage, not one single person came forward saying they recognized her. Nobody knew any teenage girl matching her description who vanished in 2012. Forensic isotope analysis showed she probably wasn't even from Houston. The minerals in her bones suggested she came from further south, maybe San Antonio or Austin. Investigators looked into connections across the US-Mexico border. Nothing. They tried tracing that Smurfette shirt, weird design with no clear retail origin. They cross-referenced her dental work, consulted missing person reports nationwide. They ruled out at least 17 possible identities but never figured out who she really was. Eventually, they buried her in an unmarked grave in Harris County Cemetery. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children still lists her case as active, but it's been over a decade now. Smurfette Jane Doe remains frozen in time. A perfect example of how easily a vulnerable girl can slip through every crack in the system. Alright, buckle up for this one because it's a wild ride with a twist ending that'll make you furious. 5 days before Christmas 1976, a young boy is playing near a bridge in Whitehaven, Pennsylvania. Snow everywhere, and he spots 3 black dots that catch his eye. Suitcases, apparently thrown from 300 feet above. 2 landed in the woods, 1 made it to the riverbank. Kid's curious, tells his parents, parents call the cops. They open the suitcases and find body parts. Human flesh wrapped in a waterlogged bedspread and pieces of old newspaper from September. There's a severed torso, legs, a head, and something else that makes this even more heartbreaking. A full-term fetus of a baby girl who never got to take a breath. This wasn't some random act of violence. This was rage, revenge, probably both. The mother's nose, breasts, and ears had been sliced clean off and were never recovered. She'd been strangled, that's how she died. But then the killer shot her in the neck just to make sure. After that, they cut her body up with a serrated blade. Deliberate but not surgical. Clean enough to suggest experience but messy enough to show rage. She was young, maybe 16 to 20 years old, about 5 feet tall, weighed around 145 pounds. Probably more because of the pregnancy. Dark brown hair, 2 moles on her face. But nobody knew who she was. They fingerprinted her, not in the system. Checked dental records across the US and Canada, nothing. So she became Jane Doe. Eventually they called her Beth Doe. With no leads, her body was buried in 1983. Case went cold until 2007 when her remains were exhumed for isotope testing. For years, investigators thought she might have come from Central Europe, maybe Croatia or Serbia, and immigrated as a child. Turns out that was wrong. She was from the US, but nobody could figure out why she hadn't been reported missing. Fast forward to 2021. A man named Louis Lallen Jr. submits his DNA to a public database, just trying to learn about his family history. His DNA matches the sample authorities pulled from Beth Doe back in 2016. Boom. Mystery solved. Beth Doe was 15-year-old Evelyn Cologne from Jersey City, New Jersey. And Louis was her nephew, born 7 years after she vanished. Here's what happened. Evelyn was a teenager in love. Her parents reluctantly let her move in with her 19-year-old boyfriend, Luis Sierra, their next-door neighbor, someone they thought they knew. Shortly after Evelyn moved in, things got weird. She called her mom one day saying she didn't feel well, asking for soup. But when her mother arrived, the apartment was completely empty. Neighbors said Evelyn and Luis had just moved out. Weeks later, the family got a letter in Spanish, postmarked from Connecticut. Luis wrote that Evelyn had given birth to a baby boy, not a girl, and that she was fine. Don't worry about it. So they believed it. When they finally tried to report her missing, police wouldn't file the report because of that letter. By the time Evelyn was identified, both of her parents were dead. They never knew what happened to their daughter. On March 31, 2021, Luis Sierra was arrested. He was 63 years old, living a normal life in Ozone Park, New York. They charged him with Evelyn's murder, extradited him to Pennsylvania. Finally, justice, right? Wrong. In January 2025, the charges were dropped. Not because they got the wrong guy, but because authorities determined Evelyn was likely killed in New Jersey, not Pennsylvania. Out of their jurisdiction, over 40 years of waiting, DNA, forensics, public pleas, and in the end, the justice system just shrugged. Today, Evelyn rests under her real name. Her case is still open, still waiting for another courtroom, another prosecutor, another shot at justice. And Luis Sierra? Walking around as a free man. October 5, 1980. Henderson, Nevada, mostly dust, desert, and dirt roads back then. Just south of State Route 146, 2 brothers are driving along a remote path. One of them's an off-duty cop. They spot what looks like a mannequin. They roll up, get a closer look, and realize it's not plastic. It's a young woman, nude, lying face down, posed, killed less than 24 hours earlier. Multiple wounds to the back of her head, blunt force trauma, looked like a hammer. Her face was battered severely, one tooth knocked clean out. 7 deep stab wounds in her upper back, believed to have come from a 2-pronged weapon, the kind meant to puncture, not kill quickly. Near her body, there's a scrap of orange-yellow plastic, like a piece of a shower curtain. Her skin had been washed. Someone tried to clean her up before laying her on the ground. The scene was gruesome but also strange. Someone took time and care to pose her and wash her, while also being violent enough to make sure she wasn't immediately recognizable. But there was one thing they missed. On the inside of her right forearm, crudely inked in blue, was a small, shaky letter S, an amateur tattoo that was fresh, possibly made days or even hours before she died. This girl was small, only about 5 feet 2 inches, weighing 100 pounds. Long, natural strawberry blonde hair, pierced ears, silver-painted fingernails, bright hazel eyes. Her dental work showed she had a rare suture procedure done, something only a handful of orthodontists would perform back in the 70s. But nobody knew who she was. The police officer who found her refused to forget her. She was buried under a headstone that read, Jane Arroyo Grande Doe. He donated money for her burial, and he and his wife visited her grave regularly, leaving flowers for a girl whose name they never knew. Investigators tried everything. Her body was exhumed 4 different times over the years as new tips and technology surfaced. At least 20 missing women were ruled out through DNA testing. In 2019, investigators partnered with Othram Forensics and Barbara Raventer, the same genetic genealogist who helped crack the Golden State Killer case. Using DNA from preserved hair samples, they created a full genetic profile and uploaded it to GeneMatch. In December 2021, 41 years after her death, the Henderson Police Department made the announcement. Their Jane Doe had a name. She was Tammy Terrell, 17 years old, from Roswell, New Mexico. Last seen on September 28, 1980. Her sister had dropped her off at the Eastern New Mexico State Fair. She never came home. That night, she was reportedly spotted at a local restaurant with a white man and another woman. According to tips that came in later, she may have been planning to hitch a ride to California. But somewhere between Roswell and the West Coast, Tammy was murdered. So many questions remain. Who were the man and woman she was seen with that night? Were they grooming her? Kidnapping her? Did she go willingly? Did they put that S tattoo on her? And if so, why? That weapon used to stab Tammy was unlike anything police had seen before. A 2-pronged tool with 3-inch prongs. Something industrial, maybe even improvised. But it wasn't a random kitchen knife. This was brought to the scene and chosen for a specific reason. Somebody planned this. As of today, her killer has never been caught. So those were 3 haunting Jane Doe mysteries. These cases stick with you, don't they? If you found this video interesting or informative, hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. We've got tons of true crime and mystery content coming your way. Drop a comment below and let me know which case affected you the most, or if you know of any Jane Doe cases that deserve more attention. Stay safe out there, everyone. I'll see you in the next video.